I think, and especially in your state of Utah, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the most pro-life electorates in the entire nation, these two issues of abortion and government-run healthcare, a system like Obamacare, those are two very hot-button issues, and we're not exactly sure where Mitt Romney stands on those issues. As you can see from the tape, he has changed his mind multiple times. Where do you stand, sir?
We've actually made it's been interesting. He talks about hit the ground running in Washington, D.C. We don't know what direction he's going to run in. That's one of the difficulties we have with this campaign is he has been back and forth on a variety of really important issues. I'm pro-life. I've been consistently pro-life. I have 8 children, and I have voted over and over in the legislature to support the pro-life agenda. In addition, I'm pro-Constitution. I support our Second Amendment as well. Over and over in my legislative service, too, I've been pro-Second Amendment, as well as low taxes, low regulatory burden from government. And government should work for the people, not the people working for the government. So my record is consistent. My opponent's record has not been consistent on that. I'm glad he talks the Utah conservative talk at this point, and I hope he means that with his talk. But as you suggest, his record makes it hard to understand exactly what direction he's going to go.
Right. I think hard to have the confidence to know how he would vote once he was there. So, Representative Kennedy, this is another thing I like to do on my show. Every time we have a candidate running for office, I like to play the little hypothetical game with the issues of the day. Because going into that voting booth, I think voters a lot of times say, well, where would this person stand on the issue that we just saw on our television the night before? How would they vote in this argument, or would they cave to the pressure from the other side? So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you 2 questions on the issues of the day. The first is in regards to the border, the immigration issue that we've heard about, the separation of illegal immigrant parents from their children when they cross that border illegally, when they're prosecuted for doing so, for improper entry into our country. Congress, in a sort of wishy-washy way, to be honest right now, is planning to address this with a piece of legislation, either a standalone bill that would address it, or the Republican compromise bill that would address a little bit of a wider breadth of issues regarding immigration. How would you vote on this issue?
Liz, if this doesn't point out why we need our borders secure, then I don't know what will. The reality is how are we letting families walk across borders and we don't have secure borders? So I stand with Donald Trump. We need border security, and that's the first and fundamental part. And any bill that I'm looking at, that's where I would start, because when people cross the border illegally, at that point, then you've got to deal with the fact that they've crossed the border illegally. And the current law is that the parents are separated from their children. I don't want children going to jail with their parents. So that makes sense, except for we need to make sure that the people are not crossing the borders illegally. So I would support a bill that would make sure our borders are secure, which is a fundamental role of our federal government.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.